Thanks for your time this evening. Good to meet you all. I'm here to talk about what we do in terms of Adigo. So Adigo was a company that was conceptualized about 18 months back, where a few physicians, myself, and a couple of my colleagues came together. We've all had a bunch of experiences where it's been very challenging to find the right care. Whether you have certain symptoms and you're trying to find the right care, or you're going to an ER, urgent care, and you're trying to find the right care. It's, I can give you about half a dozen or a dozen stressful experiences that I've had with families and friends. So when we got together, one of our advisors, Dr. Sweete, who would also be joining us this evening, we worked on what could make this problem much simpler, because physicians at the bottom of their heart, like engineers and scientists, want to solve for the problem. They're problem solvers. But there is a lot of process around which it takes tremendous amount of time to be able to get to the right care. So that's when we coined our mission, where we wanted to intelligently connect consumers, patients, and members to be able to find the right care so that the doctors can do what they do best and provide better outcomes. So this is a background of what we have. This is a background of what we have today in the US. There are about 1 billion patient visits, and out of which there are about 150 million referrals, out of which 50% are either not achieving their outcomes or results. Same way, the diagnosis overhead budgetary is about 57%. There's a lot of misdiagnosis because the physicians and nurses are given very limited time for patients to come in and tell what they're going through. And it's like clock that's running for the physicians, right? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you got to diagnose, move on to the next thing. So, and even to get to a diagnosis or an appointment sometimes takes about 1 to 2 weeks. So having said this, a lot of patients today go to ER. So with certain medical providers, there is about 4 million patients, out of which 130,000 patients go in there, or 150 go in there. 130,000 do not have any treatments, which means 87 of them do not get any treatments. So the physicians are heavily, heavily overloaded. This is apart from their EPIC and all the other duties, administrative duties. Same way the call centers, if you look at it, 4 million patients, there are about 1 million calls every month, out of which 75% have no treatments as outcome. So there is a heavy overload on the system which can be alleviated so that the best care or the right care, best care is very subjective, that's why we do not use that term, the right care can be given to the patients. So how we do it, today if you look at it, a lot of it is a conversation between the patient and the doctor, and then the care is provided. How we help the system is we can hold the conversation, we can provide insights to the physician, doctors, and nurses, and the automation, whether it's in terms of providing insights or other means, would accelerate the time to care and the time to treatment. So we use artificial intelligence as a technology to be able to streamline a lot of the human intelligence that are there with doctors so that these automations can help faster time to care. So there have been a lot of talk about symptom checkers in the market. What we do is much more of a collaboration in terms of having a conversation with the patient, being able to understand what the symptoms are, what the diagnoses are, And then we also risk stratify where the patients are and be able to automate in terms of scheduling and other aspects so that the patient can get to the right appointment as fast as possible, the doctors can give the right care and make the patients feel much better. I'm going to quickly do a quick demo of what we have. Really, would you be able to click on just the click? That should. So this basically shows how we automate in terms of the conversation and how we collect symptoms to diagnosis. This is on an Apple platform. We have it similarly on Android and other computer platforms. This right now shows in terms of typing of what symptoms. We also have free text that we can provide, and we are able to identify what the diagnosis can be. So the patients provide some of these details in terms of what the symptoms are. In this case, it's a short questionnaire, but in a lot of the senses, it could be just a plain text of what they're going through right now, and we would be able to get to a high level of accuracy in terms of preliminary insights of diagnosis to be able to provide to the physicians so that they can get to the care and treatments. So we just wanted to show what the platform does. So through the questionnaire, and once we click next, what happens is that's where the AI behind the scenes goes and does the calculations, and we can produce what the preliminary diagnosis can be and provide those as insights to the doctors and nurses. So this is where it's calculating behind the scenes. And I don't know if it's, I skipped that part. So it's basically coming back with certain insights into what the patient is going through. So what we do, as opposed to the current system today, is rather than going to call centers, going to a doctor visit as a first time, we are able to collect information, we are able to provide insights, and be able to automate in terms of scheduling or any EHR integration so that it makes it much simpler for the physicians to do their job best by providing the best care.